Welcome to a deep dive into one of the most significant milestones in automotive history. The year was 1939, and Buick was about to change the way we interact with our vehicles forever. The 1939 Buick Roadmaster, specifically the Series 80, was a titan of the road. It wasn't just about the massive 320 cubic inch straight-eight engine or the flowing Art Deco lines that defined the pre-war era. It was about a revolutionary safety feature that we now take for granted every time we drive. This was a car designed for the elite, offering a 133-inch wheelbase of pure luxury and performance. As we look at this masterpiece, notice the chrome-heavy grille and the Dynaflash branding that promised power and prestige in a rapidly evolving world. Before 1939, communicating your intentions on the road was a physical chore. Drivers had to roll down their windows regardless of rain or snow to stick their arms out. A vertical arm meant a right turn, a horizontal arm meant a left, and a downward point meant a stop. As traffic volume increased in the late 1930s and cars became more enclosed for comfort, these hand signals became increasingly dangerous and difficult to see. The 1930s saw a massive growth in vehicle ownership, making the lack of an integrated signaling system a major safety concern. Buick engineers recognized that as speeds increased, the manual method was no longer sustainable for the modern motorist. In 1939, Buick introduced the world's first factory-installed directional signal system, trademarked as the Flashway. This was a paradigm shift in automotive engineering. Unlike aftermarket accessories that were clunky and unreliable, the Flashway was integrated directly into the car's design from the assembly line. It was operated by a small toggle switch located on the steering column, allowing the driver to signal without ever taking their hands off the wheel or opening a window. This innovation positioned Buick as a leader in safety-oriented technology, proving that luxury wasn't just about leather seats and smooth rides, but also about the peace of mind provided by cutting-edge electronics. The 1939 implementation was technically distinct from what we use today. Initially, the Flashway system only functioned at the rear of the vehicle. It utilized a complex three-way switch and a heavy-duty relay system to pulse the light. Perhaps most impressive for 1939 was the inclusion of a self-canceling mechanism. As the steering wheel returned to the center position after a turn, a cam inside the steering hub would trip the switch back to the neutral position. This prevented the eternal blinker syndrome that plagued many early manual systems. This was a sophisticated piece of electromechanical engineering that required a specific 6-volt wiring harness and dedicated fuses, marking a new era of electrical complexity in cars. Buick didn't just add a light, they turned it into a piece of art. The 1939 turn signal was integrated into the center trunk ornament, which featured the iconic Buick emblem. When the driver flipped the switch, the left or right side of the emblem would illuminate, often flashing through a red lens shaped like an arrow. This chrome-trimmed masterpiece served dual purposes. It was a brand identifier and a safety device. The lenses were meticulously crafted to ensure visibility even in bright sunlight. For enthusiasts, this specific trunk ornament is the holy grail of 1939 Buick parts, representing the exact moment when form and function met on the rear assembly of the Roadmaster. Marketing for the 1939 Roadmaster focused heavily on this new feature. Buick's advertisements touted it as the car that speaks for itself, emphasizing how the vehicle communicated with other drivers. At a time when the Roadmaster's price range was between $1,500 and $2,000, a significant sum during the tail end of the Depression, safety was marketed as the ultimate luxury. Print ads featured sophisticated couples driving through busy city intersections, highlighting how the Flashway kept them safe without the inconvenience of hand signals. It was a status symbol that signaled the owner was a person of the future, embracing the technological advancements of the coming decade. Beyond the signals, the Roadmaster was a powerhouse. The Series 80 was equipped with a 320.4 cubic inch Dynaflash straight-eight engine, producing 141 horsepower. This was an incredible figure for 1939, allowing the massive 133-inch wheelbase car to cruise effortlessly at highway speeds. It featured a 3-speed manual transmission and 4-wheel hydraulic drum brakes to handle the weight. The interior was equally impressive, with high-grade broadcloth or mohair upholstery. This combination of raw power and sophisticated safety features like the flashway signals made the Roadmaster the preferred choice for executives and professionals who needed a reliable, fast, and safe long-distance cruiser. The success of the 1939 Roadmaster's turn signals was so profound that General Motors expanded the technology rapidly. By 1940, Buick added front-facing signals to the system, and the technology was standardized across all GM brands, including Cadillac, Oldsmobile, and Pontiac. Other manufacturers were forced to play catch-up. By the mid-1940s, almost every major American automaker was developing their own version of the factory-installed signal. By 1953, turn signals were required by law in many states, but it all started with that single toggle switch in the 1939 Buick. This innovation wasn't just a gimmick, it was the foundation of the modern automotive safety suite we use globally today. For modern collectors, restoring a 1939 Buick's flashway system presents unique challenges. These cars run on a 6-volt electrical system, which is much more sensitive to grounding issues than modern 12-volt systems. The original vacuum tube or heavy metal relays are rare and often require specialized rebuilding. Restorers must ensure the specific 1939 wiring harness is perfectly intact to handle the load of the flashing bulbs without dimming the headlights. Finding the correct guide brand lenses and the delicate internal switch components can take years of searching through swap meets. However, seeing that red arrow flash on a perfectly restored Roadmaster is a highlight for any concourse judge or automotive enthusiast. As we conclude our look at the 1939 Buick Roadmaster, its legacy is clear. It was the vehicle that taught the world how to talk on the road. The introduction of factory-installed turn signals was a pivotal moment that transitioned the automobile from a motorized carriage into a communicative machine. Today, as we move toward autonomous vehicles and advanced lighting systems, we owe a debt of gratitude to the Buick engineers who decided that a simple flashing light could save lives. The 1939 Roadmaster remains a symbol of pre-war luxury, a masterpiece of Art Deco design, and most importantly, the pioneer of a safety feature that has undoubtedly saved millions of lives over the last 85 years.